GettingPositiveKarmaNow.com presents Bhagavad Gita for All, a lecture series by Nalin Narula, recorded in front of a live audience. Chapter 10, The Infinite Opulence of the Absolute.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We had completed chapter 9 last time, most confidential king of knowledge, king of education. And now today we will start with chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is talking about the glories of the Supreme Absolute, that is Krishna himself. And a lot of things are clarified here further, in addition to what has been said in chapters 7, 8 and 9 about the opulence of the Absolute. We are now coming to this chapter 10. So text number 1. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Bhuya eva mahabaho shrinu me parmam vacha yatte aham priyamarnaya vakshyami hitakamya. So hitakamya means for your benefit. Lord Krishna is saying this is for your benefit, Arjun. And if you just hear from me once more, as you have heard earlier, just hear me once again, this most highest of knowledge, most highest of information, most confidential, supreme in words that I am going to speak to you that will convey this supreme knowledge to you. Because you are dear to me, and that is for your benefit, and you will be very happy to hear this. So the word Priyamarnaya can be interpreted as you are dear to me, and that which words will also be very dear to you. So both these meanings are included in this word. Then we have text number 2. Na me vidu surgana prabhavam na maharshaya aham adir hi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasa. So this is very important. Na me vidu surgana prabhavam. The demigods, surgana, do not know about my opulences, my prabhavam, my glories. Na maharshaya aham adi hi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasa. Nor do the demigods, nor do the great sages know me. They do not know who I am in truth, because in every way possible I am the origin, on the source of the demigods and the sages. So it is very important here to understand that Krishna is directly saying, very often this question has been asked to us, do the demigods know who Krishna is? And we have said, no, they don't. And even the sages don't know who he really is, because they are not free from illusion. So this is very, very important to understand this. So in the Brahma Samhita it is always said, like you take the first verse of the 5th chapter, which is that Krishna is the source of all sources. Ishvara Parma Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadi Radir Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. That he is the source, the origin. He was there before the universe existed. He is there during the universe's existence, and he remains even after the universe is no more there. So this is very important to understand. Then we move on to text number 3. Ya mam ajam anadim chavetti lok maheshwaram asamudha samartyashu sarva pape pramuchyate. Now, ya mam ajam anadim. if anyone knows that I am the original, the unborn, the beginningless, and cha veti lok maheshwaram, that I am the master of all the worlds. I am the master of all the worlds, all the lokas. Without doubt, asammudha, samarteshu sarva pape pramuchyate. He shall be delivered from all sarva pape, sinful reactions, and also from binding consequence, karma. Pramuchyate. He is freed, delivered. Such a person is undeluded. Now, when he talks about Veti, knowledge, Loka, the planets, the worlds, so there are worlds that are manifest and there are worlds that are not manifest. So he is talking about all those worlds also that are lying in suspension within the Mahatattva and within himself even. So he is talking about every living entity. That means any living entity who knows that Krishna is Ajam. Now in chapter 2, the word Aja has been used also for living entities because they are eternal. But Krishna is unborn, so he is using the word Ajam in the sense of not of the same quality, but of the original source of everything, being the source of all sources. And he is unborn and anadim, without beginning. That is the difference. The living entities, whether they are baddha entities, that means bound by material influences, or mukta, that is in the spiritual world. So he is talking about the spiritual worlds also. So those who are in the spiritual worlds who are liberated, they are deathless. They don't have any death and birth because they are now in the spiritual world, but they always had a beginning. That source was him. But he has no beginning. So this is inconceivable and difficult to understand. So we have to acknowledge that all the authorities are stating the same thing, and we must consider that. Plus he himself is saying this. So it is to be taken as his absolute word that those who know me as the unborn, as the one without a beginning, and as the supreme master of all the worlds, all the lokas, such a person, this is including the spiritual worlds and the material worlds, such a person is free from delusion and he is freed from all sinful reaction. We have then text 4 and 5. Buddhir jnanam asammoha kshama satyam dama sam sukham dukham bhava abhav bhayam cha abhayam eva cha ahimsa samata tushti tapa danam yasha ayasha bhavanti bhava bhutanam mata eva prithak vidha. These are two shlokas, text 4 and 5. So he is listing the qualities: intelligence, knowledge. Jnanam means the different person who knows the difference between the spiritual and the material. Asammoha, freedom from doubt. Kshama, forgiveness. Satyam, truthfulness. Dhamma, control of the senses. Sham, control of the mind. Sukham, happiness. Dukham, distress. Bhava, abhava, birth and death. Bhayam cha abhayam, fear and fearlessness, those who are without fear and those who are having fear. Eva cha, and also ahimsa, non-violence. Samata, equilibrium. Tushti, satisfaction. Tapa, penance. Dhanam, charity. Yasha, fame. Ayasha, infamy. Bhavanti bhav bhutanam mata eva prithakvidha. So they become of these natures, bhava, bhavanti bhava. People become, the bhutanam, the living entities become of these natures. Mata eva prithakvada, from me alone. I create this in the people. So what does that mean? Why does he create these qualities? Those qualities are created by our nature and our karma. It is as we have gathered karmic credits, the positive or the negative, the binding and the freeing. Accordingly, this arrangement is made that the people feel happy or unhappy, they feel fear, they feel fearlessness, they're of various qualities that have all been listed here. And that nature is coming because of their karmic dispensation, what they have developed in time by practice, by their activities, and by their thinking process. So one thing is very, very clear. Krishna is saying that qualities, different emotions, different capabilities and natures are created by him alone in various living entities. And this is to be understood that it is coming through him based on what we do. It's not that he has thrust this upon us. It is our working in these areas as we have worked or practiced, acted and thought, these qualities start coming up. So therefore, if we even mechanically follow certain rules and regulations of a higher path of spiritual life, then we will start actually developing those qualities, because Krishna will see that we are going in that direction and he gives these qualities to us. He allows us to experience these. So a lot of long explanation has been given here by Bhaktivedanta Swami. If you want to read it, you can read it in the book further. And one of the interesting things he says that tapa is penance and austerity. So he's saying getting up early in the morning like you have to come here is a penance and austerity. And the bell rang for that also, I think. Right? So it is a good cause. So you are getting some good karma credits, even if you are snoozing here a little bit. Okay? So then we have text number 6 of chapter 10. Maharshya sapta purve chatvar manava tatha mat bhava manasa jata yesham loke imah praja. So Maharsha, the 7 great sages, and before that the 4 other sages and the Manus are born out of my mind, manasa, from my thinking process, and all the creatures in the planet are descended from them. Now this is a very powerful information that you have here. So there were the 7 great sages, and before them the 4 Kumars and the 4 Manus. And the original 4 Kumars were, the 7 great sages were Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu and Vashishtha. And then there was the Swayambhuva Manu, Sarochita Manu, Raivata Manu and Uttama Manu. And these are all coming from the mental power of Lord Krishna. So if you examine this further, we will find that if you go more in detail, that there were the 4 Kumars also that appeared. And those 4 Kumars also had great powers, and there was also Lord Shiva who was created. Lord Brahma was there. So all of these, it's been listed here. There were 14 Manus, and then there were the 11 Rudras, so that's 25. And then there were the 4 Kumars. So there were a whole lot of people that they were there. And from the mental process also, Lord Brahma created, similarly as Lord Krishna. If you read the description in the Srimad Bhagavatam, you will find that Lord Brahma's creation of creatures also happened from his mind. So this is a process, and the interesting thing is that even physicists today have come to the conclusion that the universe is like a gigantic thought form. It's a mental, it follows the rules of thought processes most interestingly. So this is verse 6, that all these great sages, the Manus, the Kumars, Lord Shiva, everybody was born from Krishna's mind, and from them all the other creatures in the planets are descended. So that is text number 6. And if you go back earlier, Krishna says that none of these people really know who I am. So they are also in ignorance to some extent about his true form and true qualities. So text 7 we have, Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yah veti tattvata sa avikalpena yogena yujate na atra sanshaya. Evam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tattvata. My mystic power, all these opulences, one who knows this, ya veti tattvata, who knows it factually from the essential part of it, sa avakalpena, who knows this without any reservation or division or doubt, and such a person is automatically engaged, yogena yujate na atra sanshaya. Such a person is then automatically engaged in my devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. So it is very important to understand what this means. A person who knows in factuality, by realization, in truth, this glory and power of Lord Krishna's, engages in Krishna's unmixed, pure devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Why is that? Because if a person really knows who Krishna is, he is automatically going to be engaged in his devotional service. So there are various levels of knowing. There is a theoretical level of various degrees. From time to time there may be some realization, and then one is in that mood of service to Krishna, and at other times one is not in that mood, so one is in delusion or illusion. So with these opulences, all these opulences that Krishna has mentioned here, he is full in all the 6 opulences, and he is having all these qualities which he delivers to the living entities according to their preparedness, according to their worthiness for it, whether it is positive or negative. All these are coming from our own activities. We have text number 8. Aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of everything that exists. Everything comes from me. And one who knows this becomes devoted to me because he is Buddha, he is learned, he is knowledgeable, he knows the difference between material and spiritual. Buddha means person who is knowing the difference, like Gyan and Buddha, knowing the difference actually by acquisition of knowledge and by self-realization combination, that he is doing this with bhava samanvita, with great attentiveness. Such people engage in my service with great attentiveness. So that is a very nice description of how one acts, and this is further expanded in text 9, that how one acts when one is in such consciousness. Mat chita mat gata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayanta cha mama nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So with their minds that are fully focused and engaged in me, and their lives are totally devoted to the service of Krishna, who are preaching and talking amongst themselves. Bodhayanta means telling others, and parasparam, talking amongst themselves. Kathayanta, talking amongst themselves. Mam nityam tushyanti, they're always pleased and very happy and very satisfied. Ramanti cha, enjoying some transcendental bliss, enlightening one another, conversing about me. So discussing about Krishna, his qualities, and so on. And then we have text 10. What is the result of this? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upyanti te. So those who are always engaged, satata yuktanam bhajatam, in devotional service. The word bhaj comes from the root service. Bhaj means service. Priti purvakam, with loving feeling and emotion, with loving ecstasy. Dadami, I give buddhi yogam, the real intelligence. Tam yena mam upyanti te, by which they come to me. So I give them that understanding, the buddhi yoga, which is the active aspect of your healing process, the Krishna consciousness, God consciousness, the source of Reiki, of the supreme energies that come. And then he says, I do that in text 11 by Tesham eva anukampartham aham jnanajam taman nashiyami atma bhavastha jnana deepena bhasvata. Out of compassion, out of anukampa artham. Anukampa means causeless. Anukampa artham, there is no reason. It is special mercy. It is a pardon system, as we often say. Aham ajnanajam, and I dispel within them the darkness, ajnanajam tama, the darkness which is coming out of lack of knowledge, ajnanajam. Nashyami atma, within, bhavastha, themselves, jnana deepena bhasvata, and the shining lamp of knowledge illuminates them and eliminates and destroys the darkness that is born of ignorance. So we will pause here at text number 11 of chapter 10, the glories of the Absolute. And if anybody has any questions, we will take some questions now. Anyone? Anything? Any questions, any comments, any thoughts? Nothing? All is very clear? So how will you continue to act in Krishna consciousness as healers? Tell me, what is your practical plan for acting in this consciousness of serving? Start with service to Krishna. So how do you serve Krishna as a healer? What is your understanding of that? How are you serving Krishna as a healer?
You've been listening to Bhagavad Gita for All, a practical guide for everyday life. A lecture series by Nala Narula. Chapter 10. The Infinite Opulence of the Absolute.